Hello and welcome back, my favorite hockey junkies. We're back with another video, and today we got some news to share. We don't always do this, but when news compiles up like this, we gotta share it. So, less than 24 hours ago, the Bell Center got named as one of the neutral site game venues for the Montreal Victoire to be playing at home for. On March 1st, they're going to be hosting a home game against the Boston Fleet, and that's going to be one excited to go for. If I'm not mistaken, the Victoire do still hold the largest home attendance record in women's hockey to date. I think it's like 21,100 something. I'm going to have to relook up that number. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do, considering that Montreal's fan base and their market and their hockey sense, it's one of the best, considering when it comes to the sport of hockey. They're a hardcore fan base, and I don't think anything's going to change about that. On to number 2. The Women's Euro Hockey League, or the Women's Euro Hockey Tour, is going to be returning in a few days. It's going to be taking place from November 6th to November 9th. So, it's going to be a time for PWHL players to get back on their feet just before the training camp starts. Players who haven't. I'm assuming players like the Minnesota Frost players, if there even is some from Euro. But it's going to be nice, considering that the training camps do start, I believe it was November 12th. But, yeah. On to number 3. Everyone's saying different places when it comes to expansion teams, different cities, where the places are going to go. I've heard places such as Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Detroit, Quebec City, Halifax, Calgary, Chicago, Edmonton, Washington, D.C., and Seattle. All of those places have a different specific aspect to them, like, for instance, Philadelphia, they're an extremely hardcore fan base. You think that they'd have a fucking team from Compton. They're fans, they're that hardcore, they take wins and losses very seriously. Pittsburgh, you probably don't, it's not a stat that they throw at you every day, but in the NHL, Pittsburgh is one of the highest TV attendance ratings. Like, they pull in some pretty high ratings on TV. It's one of 4 teams usually that pull off 1 million viewers every time they play. But it's gonna be interesting. Quebec City, ever since the NHL took away the Nordiques from them, they've been waiting, and I think they're gonna be the one to get a team. I think they're gonna be called the Nordic Cats. Revive that. Halifax, they used to have a team in the QMJHL. I would always go and see them play the Lewiston Maniacs back when they were a team. But the point is, Halifax is a very devoted fan base when it comes to playing in certain leagues. They're also a good hockey market. They may not have the population there, but I'll tell you what, you put a team there and they're gonna sell out every night. Another thing is, I believe, Nova Scotia is quite a bit away from the closest city. Like, even if you put them between Quebec City, that's still gonna be about a 5-hour. Yeah, that's at least a 5-hour drive. I don't know what a plane ride would be like. It'd probably be like just an hour. but probably not even, if you ask me. But those are interesting ones. Detroit, did I mention them already? They're another hardcore fan base. You could see them, they're very devoted, loyal. I probably wouldn't see them going low as well when it comes to arena sellouts. It's probably, I think they're probably going to get a team within one of the first 4 expansions. It might not be one of these 2, but it'll probably happen. The same with Calgary. I don't see them getting a team in the first 4, but it'll probably happen eventually. Chicago, I don't know how they made this list. I don't see them getting a team at all within the first 4. If they do, it's going to be because of the fact that they basically got a lot of neutrals. They don't even have one neutral site game listed so far. I believe all the neutral site games listed so far this season have been for Canada. On to Edmonton. That's one where the PWHL could thrive, One thing they look for when expanding is you gotta draw in viewers. You gotta make more fans. Fans are what, you can't have a successful league without actual fans. You gotta have, the NHL right now, they pull off around, so let's see, maybe at least 100,000, or no, not 100,000, excuse me, at least 100 million fans a year, at least, Yeah, it'll be interesting. Washington, D.C. and Seattle, those 2 are pretty similar when you talk about that. I wouldn't say they're exactly hardcore. They are devoted, they are loyal, but the question is, are they ready for an early expansion? And if you ask me, I don't think that's the team. If you ask me, I think Quebec City and Halifax would be best fan base wise. They're pretty hardcore and devoted. Those would be the best choice fan wise. But if you ask me market wise, the Quebec City and Pittsburgh would probably be the best choices. Now, on to number 4 and the last topic. An idea for an affiliate league popped into my head earlier. So instead of just buying all these, or instead of buying, or not buying, instead of just making new teams and putting them in places, the Mark Walter Group instead could buy out teams in other leagues. They could buy their legal rights and then put them into an affiliate league where players that get drafted but not unsigned, or as well as invitationals, can play there. Most of their money would be made by local broadcasting and ticket sales, but it's not a league to make money. The AHL isn't out there to fucking make money. The ECHL isn't out there to make money. So it would definitely be a development league, and that's what they are. They're not money makers. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it. Thank you all for watching, and take it easy.